Mr. Chairperson, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to participate in the fifth global platform for disaster risk reduction and to make this statement on behalf of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. I would like to also express my gratitude to the government of the United Mexican States and the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction for convening this global platform, the first since the adoption of the Sendai Framework in March 2015. The government of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia would like to associate itself to the African Common Position, to the global platform and the statement of the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD. Ethiopia is one of the fastest growing economies in the world, registering a double-digit economic growth over the last 12 consecutive years, and is among few African countries that are believed to take the lead in the economic, social, and political transformation of their respective sub-regions. This is a clear indication that Ethiopia is on the right track to achieve the vision of reaching middle-income country status by 2025. Despite unimpressive economic growth over the decade, Ethiopia remains vulnerable to a range of natural and human-induced hazards and related risks and disasters, the major ones being those associated with climate change and variability, like the recent El Nino-induced drought, which was the worst in 50 years and has had serious impact on livelihoods and food security of millions of Ethiopians. The prolonged drought that particularly affected the south and southeastern part of the country, and its socioeconomic consequences is another challenge that the country faced after 2015-2016 El Nino period. If it was not for the government's many years of effort towards strengthening the resilience of vulnerable communities, as well as the early warning and response system, droughts and floods associated with such extreme weather events would have more serious consequences. Ethiopia strongly believes that such challenges can only be effectively addressed if targeted interventions that addresses underlying risk factors are designed and implemented at all levels. This thinking is a pillar on which Ethiopia's development policies and strategies in general and the National Disaster Risk Management Policy and Strategy in particular rests. Ethiopia will continue to make strides to sustain the momentum generated so far as a result of implementation of its National Disaster Risk Management Policy and Strategy, and thus be able to effectively deliver on its commitment to the Sendai Framework and its African Program of Action. One of the key milestone achievements made following the adoption of the Sendai Framework in March 2015 is the creation of a stand-alone government institution, the National Disaster Risk Management Commission, answerable to the Prime Minister's Office, to lead and coordinate disaster risk reduction and management across the country in line with the National Disaster Risk Management Policy and Strategy. Mr. Chairperson, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the government of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia reiterates its commitment to disaster risk reduction in the context of the Sendai Framework and its African Program of Action. To that effect, we will in particular, 1, consolidate our work on disaster risk assessment and profiling. 2, align our national disaster risk management policy and strategy with the Sendai Framework and its African Program of Action. 3, define national target and indicators in line with global and regional target and indicators for assessing and reporting on progress of implementation. 4, integrate disaster risk reduction and management within and across all sectors. And 5, ensure a current and coordinated approach in the implementation, monitoring, and review of all the post-2015 framework and plans. As we are always ready to learn from other countries, we are also willing and ready to share our experiences, good practices, and lessons learned with other countries. Finally, the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia is grateful to our partners, including the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, for their continued support to advance the disaster risk reduction and the management agenda across the country. Let us join hands to translate commitment into action. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Mitiku Kassa, for your statement.